Hey y'all, how you doing, Rick? Thanks for joining. Five oars, soars, five oars, soars. Thanks for joining. As always, you guys can watch the game highlights as they a little bit after on the Gazette Live blog. Yeah. So, question of the night is, what do you think of the new lines? It did not take Marty St. Louis that long. I know we were talking about it earlier in the season. It was gonna. How long was it gonna take before he decided to change up the lines, specifically the top line? And the answer is barely got into November, and then decided that a change was needed. Obviously, a bunch of injuries to that second line did not help. They've already lost. They basically lost a second line's worth of players in Dach, Newhook, um, and Laine. Only Demidov is left. So now he gets to play with Slavkovsky. And I got to say, on Monday in Columbus, I thought they looked pretty solid together. So, if the Canadiens could ever, it looks like Caulfield and Suzuki doesn't really matter who they play against. They can play with a pylon, and that pylon would probably get a couple points. So that first lines we're not too worried about. So if Slavkovsky and Demidov can become a second line together, suddenly there's a lot less strain on those, who's the perfect second line center and who's the perfect line mate for the top line. Bolduc, we know Bolduc's got finish. He can be that guy. As for who can be the second line center for a Demidov Slavkovsky line, I mean, that guy doesn't have to be as offensively gifted as perhaps, if you were dealing with two less talented players, but those guys can light the lamp. So it'll be interesting to see who they get. Ah, there you go. Five oars like Bobby. You don't mind the second line at all. You hope that Bolduc improves. Yeah, I mean, he got off to a fast start. Hasn't really scored much since, but a lot of it's about opportunity. He got definitely pushed down the line through no fault of his own, and then got pushed off the first power play unit. The first power play unit then went on this tear without him, but now they're struggling again. So he sort of has an opportunity to get back in it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in that regard. If you guys have not checked it out yet, Hockey Inside Out, this week's episode is out. The main episode came out yesterday, and then the second episode came out today. The main episode was obviously about injuries and about whether the Canadiens can withstand the big injuries that they've received in the last couple of weeks. That's the big question, and will it cost them a playoff spot in the end? Chris Nyland and Rick Green, our panelists, are back, and yeah, they had some pretty good hot takes about that. And it doesn't seem like they've lost the faith just yet, but I think they always thought that the Canadiens were gonna, kind of be a last-minute challenge for the playoffs and not. You weren't going to run away with the division. So right now they're in third in the division. So that's about what people were expecting. So then um, that leaves us with another question. Today's question: what's up with Suzuki? Stu Cowan had more information than, frankly, I've heard at all this season. So I guess Nick Suzuki has a lower body injury from a shot block, and it's good enough that he can play, but it definitely seems pretty borderline. There are definitely some players who probably wouldn't be playing. There are definitely some players who would just try to play through anything. And they're sort of wondering, what point are you helping or hurting your team? I think in Suzuki's place, he's still helping the team. Couldn't imagine this team without him, so he's gonna keep playing, even though he's clearly hurt. And then Ovechkin, on the other side, if we're talking about captains, is started off really slow, and now he's on a tear, and now he's a 900 goal scorer, and he likes to score against the Canadiens. He's got 39 career goals, 39 of his 904. I guess that's not that many. What's the percentage of that one? 39 of 904 against the Canadiens. That would be slightly more than average, I would guess, because he'd probably score about 30 goals per team. Uh, but yeah, Ovechkin's getting hot at the worst time. If you guys are curious about what Pierre-Luc Dubois is up to, he's out for about 4 months. He had abdominal. He had kind of something similar to Laine a bit, like some sort of core abdominal kind of thing. I'm not a doctor. Don't trust me, but it was a very like some sort of surgery to some torn up innards that he needed to have looked at, and he's out for about the same time as Laine. Hi, Mark. Happy to see you again. I'd forgotten about Wilson's mocking face last April. You forgot? I. It still haunts me every night. No, it doesn't. But if you tell me the name Tom Wilson, the first thing that I'm thinking of, for sure. I'd love to see someone send Tom Wilson into next week. Yes, that would be nice. He is on a tear right now as well. He's got 11 goals on the season, and it really sounds like Tom Wilson is also being considered for Team Canada. So there could be a situation where Nick Suzuki, who's not in perfect health, ends up not making the Canadian Olympic team, and then Tom Wilson makes the Canadian Olympic team. So I just want everybody to brace themselves for that possibility. Could happen. Tom Wilson's on a tear. He sure is. He is. You know, that's funny when you sign. I remember when he signed that, like, what was it, like an 8-year deal, like a ridiculous long-term deal. Already past 30, already lots of wear and tear on his body. He had some injury-prone seasons, and it was just like, oh, this guy is. The Capitals are just paying for. They won the cup with him, so they're doing him a solid. But nope, Tom Wilson is still an absolute beast in this league. Who would have thunk it? Yeah, it's funny to think on the Slavkovsky, Kapanen, Demidov line. Slavkovsky's the veteran on that line. He's the guy with the most NHL experience. I guess Kapanen's a shade older in life, but Slavkovsky's the older one in terms of experience, and he had a good game. He got absolutely plowed at one point by Voronkov, but still had a good game. Still had a very good game against Columbus. The Olympics may be physical, although the rules are different. Don't see Russia Canada. Well, Russia's not playing again, right? I haven't checked in a minute, but I think Russia might still be banned from the Olympics, right? Or is it going to be like a people from the state of Russia? One of those sort of Olympic doodads. I'm not too sure, but I haven't. I can't say that I followed the Olympics that much. I know they already named Slav to Slovakia. I know that Dobesh was feeling a little disrespected that no one from the Czech delegation has given him a call, and obviously, uh, who else is there? Well, I mean, Caulfield and Hudson not there right now. We'll see. Does anyone know how to change my chat name back to? Why are your names different? It should just be your YouTube name, no? Is that not what it is? I don't think I can change it. Moderation activity, participant, timestamps, reactions, pop out chat. That's very odd. I don't know why both your names would change like that. Very strange. Oh, yeah, that's true. I thought Lane Hudson had his best game of the season against the Blue Jackets. So that's a very promising situation. I thought he had struggled mightily against the bigger Dallas and LA teams, and still maybe showing a little bit of his limitations. That he doesn't seem very limited most games, but I guess occasionally against bigger opponents, he does still get exposed a little bit. But against Columbus, I thought he was fantastic. I guess Columbus not known as a big heavy team though, so and Washington are, but these are not. I wouldn't say that these are necessarily last year's Capitals. I mean, obviously, Ovechkin, Wilson, those boys are still there. Jacob Chikrin is still there. Um, but it doesn't necessarily feel like they are coming out the gate as hot as they did last year. That being said, Ovechkin only just recently got hot, so we'll see what happens. Hey, you had your trip to Montreal? Train ride, damn. Usually the train ride's pretty solid. And then yes, of course the game was not great. So I'm disappointed that you didn't have a good train ride. That was like the Via Rail, I guess. The yeah, Via Rail. And I will say, although the results of the games, even when they lose, it is still a good time at the Bell Center. It's still a good place to see a game, and the people's still into it. Although that Dallas one was pretty. That Dallas, fair enough. That Dallas one was pretty bad. I'll give you that much. Hiya, hiya. I got my drink tonight as well. Oh, you can't see it. It's like a Habs mug. 10 hours to get back to Guelph. They'd put us on buses in TO. Is that always like that? Or was it because the train wasn't working? That sounds terrible. That does admittedly sound. Yeah, look, everybody's got like new names today. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. I wish I could tell you. I don't know how. No idea how YouTube chat works. Sorry. I thought about going to a game this year, but I think I'm going to wait a bit. The team is too inconsistent. It's a huge expense. I hear you. I hear you. Games are expensive, and so are concerts. My brother got a last minute ticket to Paul McCartney. I was so happy for him. He's a big Beatles fan, bigger Beatles fan than me. So like I wasn't that thrilled to go. But my brother was able to go see Paul McCartney. He got obstructed seats for paid 170 for his ticket. Bought it the day of. So the concerts aren't much cheaper these days. It's going to cost you if you want to go to the Bell Center. We got Montembeault in goal tonight. All right. Here you go. Big rematch of last spring's playoff series. Let me know if you still have any animus towards the Caps. Is there a little extra you want to win tonight because of what happened? Hey Ryan, welcome to the chat tonight. 4-2 Caps. All right, we got to put our got to remember at the end of the game if you're right or not. And if you put a little money on it, you got to share with us. That's the rule. The Caps showed us that we're not tough enough for playoff hockey. That is unfortunately true. And a lot of that physicality hopefully will come from the team just getting older. And, you get older and bigger and stronger. But, some of it's going to have to come externally as well. And somebody dropped like they were. Alexei Protas dropped like he's been shot. He's already back to the bench, though. Looks like it's Slavkovsky going to the box for 2-minute high stick. He's trying to avoid a hit from Ferravari, and then he ends up swinging a stick around and hitting Protas. It kind of almost looked like it was a bit of the follow through, but then they're never gonna call it that way. That's fair. You do got to watch out where your stick goes, but not 4 minutes, and right off the draw, Ovechkin scores. And that was literally at 19 minutes even, right off the draw. No, it's not Ovechkin. Sorry, it's not Ovechkin. It's who was that? Oh no, it was Ovechkin. Sorry. What a shot through three people, through one of his own guys and two Habs right off the draw. That is why Ovi is the king. I will say, if you guys are behind, I'm watching on RDS in French, and it's consistently always the fastest one. Was Dobson on the ice? I'm not entirely sure here. No, Dobson was not. I don't believe so. Matheson definitely was. But yeah, I don't believe Dobson was, no. Montembeault says he needs to move more to get through the screens. Montembeault, you mean? Absolutely. There are way too many games. I mean, we've watched enough of these this year, guys. Totally, like so many plays where we're like, scored through the screen, scored through the screen. Monty had no chance. But it happens a lot with him. And it can't just be a matter of like, you're an NHL goalie. Not every moment, there's always going to be guys in front of the net. There's always going to be traffic. He's probably already set a record for the amount of goals allowed in the first shot of the game. It's at least 4 this season, right? Am I crazy? That'd be a good. Yeah, where the real deep dive stats where we can check this out. I feel like it's 4. There was that streak with 2. 3 when he came in relief. Does the relief one count? It would count. So 3 and then 4 and then I think there's another one at the early in the season against the Leafs maybe. Leafs they scored early, so 4 or 5. That's brutal. I saw somebody else saying, yeah, Max, you're saying that you think Arbor screwed up thanks to Marty. Can't play his kind of game under that coach. And then I saw somebody else. Yeah, Kevin. Does anyone else feel that Arbor is a step or 2 behind? I think he was playing. I can't vouch for Monday's game, but I thought he'd been playing a little better of late. Struble has the hockey sense of a dung beetle. All right, so we're not feeling the 2 bottom guys, bottom pair guys. Don't know how long they are for this team, this league. Nyland and Rick Green both think Florian Jacki should be called up. Yeah, they do. I think they've both seen enough of Veleno at this point. I think Veleno is kind of the guy that they're like, okay, we've seen enough of what this guy can do. Right. I heard Struble was at Jacki's house when he told him he was challenging Zadorov. Oh, that's a fun detail. You see how goals happen when you put the puck on net, but they never do it on the PP. I thought they tried a little harder against Columbus, but I don't. Yeah, I don't think we're fully there yet. Yeah, too fancy on the perimeter. They need to create traffic the way that other teams create traffic against Montembeault. Caulfield trying to score from a sharp angle. There you go. He's shooting. I mean, while Strubl's trying to manhandle Ovechkin, Washington just kind of gets to the net and gets a scoring chance. But hey, you got to stop him somehow, right? That's right, Ryan. He was on 690 the other day, and he brought that up and how they would try to help the team. Okay, so that was that's where you guys heard it on 690. And we got another penalty on the Canadiens. This time, Matheson dumped Ethan Frank behind the net. And Ovechkin looks not happy about that earlier skirmish with Struble. So, got a commercial break coming up, but do watch out. The Washington Capitals are once again on the power play. Nyland and Larac think Jackeye needs to better defend himself in scraps. Yeah, you guys were saying that too after the Boston scrap against who was it, Tanner Jeannot, and Tanner Jeannot just knocked him out. And I had said that I thought he had done okay in the fights this year, but like wasn't great. And then you guys really were feeling like he's been getting the upper hand against him, or he hasn't looked that great. And yeah, you're right. Nux agrees with you. So if Nux agrees with you, then you guys are right. Is how I operate, especially when it comes to fights. I will always defer to the expert Chris. And yeah, so Chris does talk to Arbor. Nux is there to provide assistance in the fighting department, but we shall see what happens with Arbor next time he fights. But Tanner gave him a good run for his money. So what other games we got tonight? So we got the Jackets in the first period scoreless against the Leafs. And the Red Wings, still the divisional leaders, I think. They're playing against the Islanders tonight, who will be without our old buddy Romanov for quite some time. Matheson fighting Frank in the corner, and Ethan Frank takes a little tumble. Ryan, you say that's a dive. Definitely, he fell pretty easily. Jackeye would be fine if he was allowed to play his game. They might as well trade him. MSL like soft, touchy boys. Yeah, if they just like let him. I mean, we don't see him hit as much. We don't see him. He'll fight, but maybe he's tentative about when to fight. I know Knuckles was talking a lot about that. That when Marty's not a big proponent of him fighting a lot, so that when he does fight, he goes in feeling a little tentative. So yeah, if he was just kind of allowed to run, uh, would that be better? Would that be better on another team? Max, you're saying Bolduc isn't playing like he did in St. Louis. He needs to get back to that. He's not even playing like he did the first 6 games of the season here. He started off really fast here. Needs to get back to that. Hopefully, playing on the number one power play will kickstart it again. Arbor's heart doesn't seem to be with fighting. Can't blame him. Why should he get head injuries if he's demoted and benched? Yeah, if he's I don't think they want him here just for his fighting ability. His fighting ability is appreciated, but I do think that they want him to be a steady defenseman as well. So that's his priority, for better, for worse. Hey, we got Kelly Morgan here tonight. Good to see you again. Jackeye fighting won't get the Habs the 2 points they desperately need tonight. That is a good point. Unless Tom Wilson's being a pain in the butt. If Tom Wilson's being a pain in the butt, maybe you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, Rick, happy to see Kelly as well. I think they should move him before they completely ruin him. That's always an interesting thing. That if a player is more valued elsewhere, should you just move him? Because I can imagine a potential sort of mid pairing defenseman that could fight is probably worth more to somebody else than the Habs. But it's not like the Habs don't need. Not like the Habs, aren't in need of more defense. I will say. Here we go. First Habs power play of the night. Demidov draws the penalty, entering the zone. Justin Sourdif trips him up. Cole Caulfield almost risked getting a penalty there. Yeah, Tom Wilson's like, why didn't you make the call? So Carlson kind of dumped the puck in the zone on the PK, and then Tom Wilson went chasing after it with Cole Caulfield, and then Wilson got tripped up in the play, but it looked not like a trip, and just more that he sort of wiped out on the way, and clearly the refs agreed. Well, this power play is going nowhere. Or did I speak too soon here? I did not. Suzuki struggling with juggling it. And it's down the ice. Max says, I really don't think this team deserves any sympathy for this slump. They are plagued with the same problems as last year. They rarely play 60 minutes and they don't finish their checks. And they're very undisciplined when it comes to the basics. Yeah, what do you guys think? I felt like in the early going, it seemed like, oh, yeah, this team's taking a step up from last year. But I feel like we're all kind of in the boat where it's like, they're not that much better than last year, if at all. So I don't know. You let me know if you think the team's has improved a little bit or a lot or not at all. Definitely curious to get your thoughts. Dallas and LA really exposed how far this team needs to come to be anything serious. Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see about Washington tonight, obviously, given that Washington, uh, you know, beat them so soundly in the playoffs last year. That was painful. That was a very painful power play. They did not. No point putting anyone in front of the net on that power play. Yeah, if you can't even get in the zone, getting somebody in front of the net is the least of your problems. They're missing key pieces to the puzzle of winning, in my opinion. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I think we were feeling pretty decent about the goaltending last year, but we're not feeling good about the goaltending this year. Feel like a goaltender is definitely in the need. They need another forward. Probably a number 2 center, but they definitely need another forward. They definitely, I think the bottom 6, just through attrition, is going to need to change and get better. And the defense, they definitely, I think, need. I think they're really missing Kaiden Guhle right now. That's for sure. They're just missing that physical presence on the blue line. Struble and Xhekaj could be physical players, but I feel like the other aspects of the game are quite hard for them, so they don't really get to take advantage of their size very often. Whereas Kaiden Guhle is like a talented player. They're getting out-muscled by the Caps. Let's be honest, they are still too small. Yeah, how's the hit counter so far? Well, it's 4-3 Habs, but obviously it's still very early. Nobody's afraid of Hudson's power play shot. Yeah, he doesn't really. It's not why he's there, but it would make their power play a lot more dynamic if they could at least shoot through traffic and create stuff with that shot. That being said, he was best player by far on Monday. Like, there are things he's not great at, but he's still the most dynamic guy they have. The Hudson Muffin, like, yeah, come on. He's the least of this team's problems. There's about 5 other defensemen. There are 5 other defensemen that are probably problems right now, more so than Lane Hudson. Actually, Matheson's been pretty darn good so far, I will say. Xhekaj shot from the point, like on the power play. I mean, there are worse things. We don't see that guy shot anymore. I feel like, do you remember when he was a rookie, man? He was just shooting. We don't see that anymore. Again, just like the rest. This league is tough, man. If you especially if you're a defenseman, it's hard for the other aspects of your game to shine if you're struggling with the basics. If you're getting exposed in other ways. Hey, Brandon Gallagher passed Jacques Lemaire with 854 games, all with the Habs. He's now 17th in all-time games played for the Habs. So congratulations to Brandon Gallagher. Sad to have. The Canadiens' power play since Marty St. Louis became coach, 390 games, ranks the 3rd worst in the NHL after the last place Flyers and Ducks, who are climbing up. Is it that bad? I know he inherited a god-awful team, but I didn't realize it was that bad. And still, I mean, the power play started off really hot. I think before the LA game, the team was 5th in the league on the power play, and I feel like it's already crumbled. Veleno is becoming a joke. Yeah, I think the Veleno experiment is getting near the end. We're starting to see guys on waivers like John Beecher. I saw Alexandre Texier was maybe looking at a contract termination. Brad Lambert, and I'm kind of like, we get to the point where the Habs have some injuries. Is it not worth it to maybe drop Veleno and see somebody else? I don't know. Let's remember that we're missing Laine, Guhle, Dach, and Newhook. Makes a huge difference. That is true, although I would counter that by saying they're out for a really long time. And I don't think if they miss the playoffs, anybody will be feeling good about saying, well, those guys were hurt. So the Canadiens are just they're gonna have to figure it out. Capitals have taken another penalty. Not that the Canadiens mustered much on that first power play. Bring up Florian Xhaka and create some chaos. Won't have a problem going to the net. Yeah, that is certainly in the preseason. It looked like he was good as that. Don't blame Fowler for blowing a gasket right now. That's right. I meant to. I was busy last night and I missed the highlights. I gotta check that out. Six shots for the Habs. Seven shots now for the Habs. It's a nice period for them. They don't have a goal yet, though. We're really going to miss Dach's 20 games per year. On pace for that again. I hope Fowler learned a lesson. That was a total flop on his part, trying to draw a penalty. Okay, I need to watch this highlight. Somebody messaged me last night about it, and I was like, "Oh, got to check it out." And then I just totally forgot. But you guys have piqued my interest. From Stu Cowan, the Habs have a total of six shots on goal on their last 8 power play opportunities. Womp womp. So a funny stat too from Tom Gulidi from NHL. So for those who are concerned about Alex Ovechkin's empty net goals as he chased down Wayne Gretzky's NHL goal record last season, Ovi now has more goals than Wayne Gretzky and anyone else when excluding their empty net goals as well. So Ovechkin has 839 career goals minus the empty netters, and Gretzky's got 838. So you can't say that Ovi took advantage. Please put Demidov back on the first power play. Check out Patrick Roy's outburst. Oh, that I saw. That was amazing. I watched the game. He was jabbed by the stick of a Syracuse player, and it was legit. And then Mark says, I also watched it, and I disagree, but that's fine. We don't have to agree. I love it that you guys said that. Caulfield definitely had some time there to set up a shot, but he waited a little too long to kind of corral it, and then Carlson came over and was able to deflect the shot wide. But wow, it was a nice one-touch pass, and he definitely had room, but you need to fire that one off a little faster. Suzuki sent it across to Slavkovsky, and Slavkovsky as well. Probably would have had more effective if it was a one-timer, but he kind of bobbled it, and then Suzuki's got a one-timer, and he completely shanked it. I wish somebody on the big team would have an outburst. Yes, a Fowler-esque outburst. It would be a pleasant change. Yeah, who's the one who's going to get this team mad? Because they're not mad. They're not mad enough yet. You guys are mad. You guys are mad about this, right? They've lost, what, 6 of their last 7? Something like that? Seems like they're really starting to miss Laine on the power play. Everybody said he was 1 foot out the door, but hey, man, 20 goals are 20 goals. They're not easy to find. Is that in? There's a million bodies in front. Dobson took the initial shot. Lindgren gave up a little rebound. And then we've got, I mean, everybody's now on top of Lindgren. Kapanin's there. Demidov is there. We might go upstairs on this one. Demidov seems pretty convinced that it went in. Here, we're going to see now from the top-down perspective. Oh. Looks like it's in. It's got to fully cross that line, the goal line. How about from this angle? Looks like a goal to me. What do you think? Did the puck cross the line? So Gallagher's the initial guy. He's the one who's really doing the damage in front of the net. So he's the one. Hey, that'd be his first goal of the season. I feel it's very appropriate that Brendan Gallagher's first goal of the season would be banging one home that they got to go upstairs and check on. Knowing Gallagher's luck, they'll call a penalty on him. Canadiens, by the way, up 12-3 in shots right now. So we got a... That's in. Looks good to me. Looks like a goal. I see white. There you go. It's a good goal. Brendan Gallagher has his first goal of the 25-26 season. Imagine somebody was in front of the net, made things happen. And imagine is Brendan Gallagher. Guy knows a thing or two about scoring from in front of the net. There you go. What do you know? He was in front of the net. And then Canadians, Joshua Roy, almost like immediately on the next shift, takes a high sticking penalty. And what is Roy doing with his stick? That's a brutal play for Roy. So this is the 5th power play of the period. Still 4 minutes to go. So don't be alarmed when Jackie's ice time is very low this period. Well, here's where Veleno earns his keep right now, pretty much as a penalty killer. Phil Massar instead of Joshua Roy is an interesting look. I don't think Joshua Roy is long for this team or league either, so they're gonna start trying other people. So I'd be curious to see if Massar gets a chance. Penalty is negated with 48 seconds to go. So that's the 6th penalty of this first period. What a Ethan Frank, who was the one who fell a little fast against Matheson, is now at the other end of the stick. He totally slashed Matheson's stick into pieces. Massar is not NHL material. Yeah, I can't say that I've seen enough of him yet to make an assessment. He certainly didn't look it last year, but if he's healthy, let me know. Well, the Habs are on the power play here for a little bit, and it's started off well, but then a bad pass by Slavkovsky. Could be wrong here, but I think Mazar will surprise people. I mean, he's definitely got speed and the ability to operate at pretty high speeds, which was why he was drafted. So he's got skills. There's no doubt about that. He's got to be better than Veleno and Roy combined. Yeah, it's unfortunate that Joshua Roy hasn't quite seized his opportunities. Anderson and Ovechkin in front of Montembeault, and obviously nobody's letting Ovechkin get into a fight. They immediately come in and defend him. Must be a reason nobody's in front of the net. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science, but it's definitely like an instinct thing. You've either got the instinct to go to drive the net or you don't. It's not an easy thing to teach. I think they do need like you saw Florian Jacki in training camp. And I'm not saying he's going to be this amazing player or anything, but the one thing that you could see from him is that he was very good at going to the net and being around the net. I thought we saw it from Davidson on Monday. Davidson had 3 chances where he was in front of the net. So it's just like, I don't know. It's just an instinctual thing, I would say. 12-5, 12-4 shots. Habs says 12-5 now. There's still 12 seconds to go. And Ovechkin and Anderson are off to the box. So Anderson gets cross-checking, and Ovechkin gets slashing. So they get real penalties. It wasn't just roughing calls. So it's going to be like a legit 4-on-4. So this is 8 penalties this period. Oh, boy. Yeah, nice trade-off. Anderson can't be too upset with how that went down. Mazar is small. Yeah, 5'10". But at this point, they need to add another scorer, so I don't know. We'll see. I think they'll be happy that he gets like another full season in Laval. I don't think he's. I could see them calling up a Condata for the 4th line before that. No way. Another penalty to end the period. Unreal. They have plenty of talent. They just need more meanness. Yeah, I think and don't get me wrong, I think that they've built the team correctly. Like I think you need to find the talented players first. Like it's harder to find a Demidov than it is to find like a tough guy. So I think it's important that they found the talent like the Hudsons and the Demidovs of this world and they locked them up. But now like I think they have enough probably need like one more scorer, but I think they have enough scorers um that they can start to move on and really start to fill out the bottom six, fill out the bottom pairings. Like honestly, if Struble and Jacki are not the guys, find the guys because you need guys like that. If Guhle's not your guy, if he can't stay healthy, they need a guy in that top four defense who can hit a guy. Like we're seeing how important Guhle is when he's not here. So the talent can operate. That's exactly it. Matheson 2-minute misconduct. That's what it's looking like. Well, he got a high stick. He got a high sticking call at the end of the period. He high stick John Carlson. So in the end, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 penalties in the first period. That's crazy. Basically, the entire game, the entire period. Does anybody have a Google Pixel? I'm thinking of switching from Apple. Let me tell you, I was a Google Pixel owner for years. I had, I think, 3 straight Google Pixels, and I loved them. But the two places that I worked at, so the place that I worked at prior to where I'm working now, and then now two places, so two places in a row. I needed to use a Mac for work. I had a lot of like intensive video editing in my job, and the ability to transfer files really fast from Apple phone to the Mac made it so that I had to switch over. But I have to say, I miss my Google Pixel every day. But if you use the Apple for other functionalities like AirDrop and stuff, you will miss that too. But I think the Google Pixel is a better phone overall. So it really depends on what you use as a computer in life and if you need that connectivity. If you don't need the connectivity, get a Pixel. You'll be happy. But if you need that, if you need the AirDrop, if your life is Apple everything and you have Apple passwords, I don't know. I will say that for my I have an iPhone here. I will say that I downloaded all the Google apps because I have I'm a Gmail, Google Chrome, and then I have my Google password. So I'm just Google, you know. So Google is still a very important part of my life. Just I do have an iPhone now. We have up on the Liveblog. You can see the link in the chat. We have the scores. We have the 2 goals if you want to see them. We also have Lane Hudson sporting a Montreal victoire. Hey, we got from Stu Cowan. That's Brendan Gallagher's first goal since April 8th. A span of 29 games, including playoffs. That's wild. 29 games without a goal for Gallagher. And he was great last year. He scored 20 goals last year. He had a good season. And it's still 39 games without a goal for him. 29 games. That was also that goal ended an 0 for 18 slump on the power play over the last 7 games. Yeah, that was their first power play goal in 19 attempts. Man. Dirty goals are where it's at. Totally agree. I hate to uh, I hate to bring it up, but I thought Kirby Dach in the few games before he got hurt, I thought he was going to the net, and I liked it. And then for like this brief shining moment, Juraj Slafkovsky was going to the net on the power play. There was the Kaiden Guhle goal, the game winner, that I'm pretty sure deflected off Slafkovsky, but whatever. They gave it to Kaiden Guhle anyway. I think to tie it up against like Seattle or something like that. Um, man, those two big bodies going to the net could have been special, but it was not to be, and it did not last long. Oh well. I wanted to mention as well, Hockey Inside Out. We have now moved it. I mean, it's still on YouTube. It's still on the website and still on YouTube. You still watch it in both those places. But I've also started adding it to Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Um, Spotify, you get to watch it, but Apple Podcasts, just audio. But let me know. It's a great, they don't really use any, use photos or whatever, but they don't speak with any graphics or anything. So it's actually a great listen on as a podcast. So if you are not super big on YouTube, or if you like having it in the car, you can put it on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. So let me know if you listen to Hockey Inside Out on either. You can now. You have that capability. Let me know if you listen to it that way and if you're enjoying it. I feel like it's very exciting. I feel like they're a lot of fun, those guys, Rick and Nux, when the team's not playing so great. I will admit. Maybe if everybody got paid the same, they would feel more responsible. You mean like the players? Like if all the players were paid the same? Um, you know, like in life, like at the company you probably work for, not how it goes. You know, hockey players ultimately, like you or I, are also just people trying to negotiate the best salary from their boss that they can, and so we end up with divided. There was a place I did work once that was very upfront about what everybody was paid, and everybody was paid the same. And well, not everybody was paid the same. There was like relative to the role you had, there was no negotiation. So it's like if you were a manager, you made this much. If you were below a manager, you made this much. And if you were a graphics person, you made this much. And like that was that. There was lots of bonuses to be made, but there was no salary negotiation. I couldn't tell you if that's the right way to do things or not. I will say that place did have a hard time keeping people. Um, but not because it was a bad place to work. Actually, it was a lovely place to work. It's competitive. It was in a competitive field, and it was just when you're telling people you can only make there's this much to be made. Unfortunately, again, another company can come in and swoop in and offer you more, and that's kind of what happens, I think, at that place a little bit, unfortunately for them. Although I wish them all the best. I love them. That has nothing to do with hockey, but hey, man, getting paid, that's a life thing. It's not a hockey thing. You might have seen also on that power play goal, Dobson and Demidov got assists. Dobson quietly having a strong offensive season. Where's he at right now? Dobson is currently at 13 points. This is 20th game of the season. 13 points. How many points do you think he's going to get this year? You think he's going to cross 50? Yeah, here's my intermission. My end of intermission question for you, because we've got one more commercial break before we're back. But yeah, Dobson has 13 points in 20 games. How many points do you think he's going to get this season? Uh, Very curious to know what you think. He's an interesting player because he's definitely not like he's never going to score a lot of goals. He's not a shooter. Doesn't have that inclination. I don't know if he's got a good shot, but he doesn't shoot a lot, so it's hard to say. And yes, he is very dependent on other people. He won't cross 50 if no one goes to the net. 50 is a lot with the present situation. So you guys are not feeling 50. I'm feeling 50. I think he'll get 50. The guy just is involved. He's really a wizard with the puck. Without the puck, without the puck, he's a bit of a mess. But with the puck, I do think he's a wizard. I think he really does just create so much with his legs and with his stick. Super interesting player right now, I will tell you. We are back for the second period. And the Canadiens will be shorthanded to start. Matheson took a high sticking penalty on John Carlson right as the period ended. There was 9 penalties total that period. 5 for the Habs, 4 for the Caps. It was really gnarly. It was really gnarly. Not a very unless you like a lot of power plays where not a lot's happening on those power plays. Wasn't the most entertaining period ever. So we got right now in the box Anderson's still from that the match in minors with Ovechkin, and then now Matheson's in there. So it's gonna be a 4-on-3. I guess it's gonna be a 4-on-3. Montembeault with a nice save. They needed that one. They're all high sticks. Anyone who flinched or grabbed their face. Pierre Hood was saying that the high sticks and the being loose with your stick can be a bit infectious sometimes. And I thought we saw it tonight in the first. Ooh, that puck was kind of floating in front, and Montembeault did well to make that save. Man, what a fortunate play for the Caps. Oh, come on. Right as the penalty on Matheson was over, so Ovechkin got a chance, and then Ethan Frank all alone in the slot. Well, I mean, what's Montembeault doing on that? There's nobody screening him. He can say that Dobson's there, but Dobson's not screening him. What on earth was going on there? That's a real. Oh, and that goal was officially on the power play. So all three goals have been on the power play so far tonight. Oh, what a nice floating pass. What was that by McMichael? Oh, that was McMichael. Suzuki circles the net, had a chance, and he ends up just giving it away. Nice score by the Caps. They had one player skating back to the bench for a new stick. Monty, for fuck's sake, make a stop once in a while. Jesus, he was not even his net. He wasn't in his net. Like, I don't know what's going on with Monty right now, but brutal. Mark, good to see you tonight. We can't win with that goaltending. Yeah, that's on the goalie, I gotta say. Kevin says, anyone else notice when the Habs are on the PP, the opposing team puts pressure on them, but when they're on the PK, they stay back in their formation? Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? It's 3-1. Guys, Jakub Dobeš is coming in. Let's go. What do you think? Ethan Frank scored again. Looked like another softie. Flip pass. And from far out, Frank beats Montembeault off the rush on one that he really should have had. That's a brutal one. What an absolute shit show. Again, in nets. I mean, how did Habs get out of this? I mean, I think you gotta. I mean, do you put Montembeault on the injured list with some sort of injury, and you try to get him right, and you bring Kakinen up? Hey Joseph, good to see you tonight. 3 bad goals tonight, and they were doing well. They outshot Washington in the first. They're still outshooting them. And then 2 real softies allowed. And Canadians are back behind the 8 ball again. What a stop by Lindgren. I mean, Habs are keeping it in the zone, but not much going on. Oh, yeah, what did you have? 4-1 Cap. Wow. You said 4-1 Caps, no? 4-1 or 4-2? I can't remember now. CVS lambasting Monty, the Civ Monty. As I said last time he was in goal, we're the Montreal Miners when Monty plays, constantly digging ourselves out. Eric, are you willing to shell shock Fowler? This team can't defend the score. No, I think Kakinen comes in first. I think they signed Kakinen specifically so that Fowler they could resist the urge to call up Fowler. Kakinen will come up first, and I think it'll happen. Because Montembeault needs his head is not right. His head's not in the game right now. I don't know what's going on. They could say there's an injury of some kind, I'm sure. He did suffer a pretty serious injury at the end of last season. Carey Price was always well positioned. Yeah, lots of things to worry about with Carey Price. Positioning was never that. He was maybe the best to ever do it, really. When he was on, I mean, he was like pure positioning wise, maybe the best to ever do it. I think you can make that case. What a luxury it is to have a goalie who stops the puck. Yeah, and it's Charlie Lindgren, a guy that wallowed in the Canadian system for 5 years before he got a chance somewhere else. But that's goaltending, man. He wasn't good at that point, so I don't blame him. So that's actually Ethan Frank's first and second goals of the season. So he's not even lighting the lamp, but I guess against Montembeault he is. They have to try something with the goalie situation. Enough of this Monty. He's going to single-handedly ruin our season. Yeah, I think it's gotten to the point where you need to send him on a health assignment or whatever, cook the books, whatever you got to do to put him on the injury list. The season is already over. All Monty can do is get us closer to a top 5 pick and hope McKenna drops. Well, the season's, they're in I think they're still in a playoff position. So, there's still a lot of down to go. By the way, lovely save there by Dobesh. He's look, Dobesh fighting the puck too these days, but I think there's something about his body language that makes you think he's gonna fight his way out of this, whereas Montembeault just seems so completely out of sorts right now. I cannot explain to you guys what's going on with Sam Montembeault. He really just is the basics are eluding him. It's almost like he's got the yips right now, like the Chuck Knobloch, Steve Sachs can't make a throw to first base yips. That's honestly what it looks like with Montembeault. Like he's so out of position right now. Ovechkin now tied for 10th most points in NHL history, tied with Joseph Sakic. No one calls him Joseph. Joe Sakic. Man, Gallagher thought he had a break there, but Very came back, and now hey, Joe Veleno's got his first. I mean, when you got Mike Matheson passing you lasers like that, you can't miss. What a great play that was. Goodness, did they need that. Look at that. He needed that one. It's 3-2. Goodness gracious. Is there anybody? How about it, guys? Gallagher and Veleno breaking their goose eggs tonight. So they both scored their first goal of the season. They're getting offense in different places. Although I will say, they're getting offense in different places. But the defense are still the same, guys. And Gallagher's got 2 points on the night. I mean, the guy still's got 8 assists on the season. He's not a total schlub, I'll say. And just because I missed the other Frank goal, that one was assisted by Protas and Hendricks, the amazingly named Hendricks Lapierre, who I thought maybe could have been a prospective Montreal Canadian in the offseason. I know they were looking for a center. He was sort of unsure if he was going to win that third line center job, but it looks like he's won it pretty concretely. Nobody's going to take Monty. No one, and I don't suggest they get rid of him either, because goalies are mercurial, and you never know when he can. He has played well before and played very well last season. So I would say you put him on the injured list. There's something wrong with every. There's always something wrong with every player. You could put him on the injured list, give him 2 weeks, give him a rehab assignment in Laval, and see if you can get him right again. And then call up Kaiden in the meantime. Kakinen's got NHL experience, and Kakinen's a little bit like Montembeault, a guy who's like had shades of being a number one goalie at times in his career and like wasn't able to sustain it. They could trade Matheson and Monty and come out with a 2C. That would change my mind. I am. Oh, see, okay, now I understand that nobody's going to take Monty response. I will say that Matheson's going to get re-signed. This defense, I think they were hoping coming into the season that this defense would be able to prove that it could play without Matheson, but they've actually just proven that they are more dependent on Matheson than ever. And Matheson stepped up. I mean, he has played amazing with Dobson this season. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Matheson's coming back. They love him. Um, he's got 199 career assists, apparently, according to the broadcasts. So, no, he's coming back. Media is saying that the Oilers like Monty, but that's a bit dumb. I don't think that's dumb. I think that's, again, he played well last season, led to the playoffs last season. I think there are definitely teams out there who think that they can fix him. They've tried to fix other teams have tried to fix worse goalies than that. I mean, Alexander Georgiev won a, you know, Colorado tried to fix him, and I think Montembeault is better goalie than Georgiev. Georgiev's not even in the league anymore, so I think there's possibilities here. Eric, how old is Charlie Lindgren? I remember him playing with Beliveau. Charlie Lindgren and Jean Beliveau teammates. That sounds a bit off, but I'll trust you on that one. No, I kid. Charlie Lindgren is 31 years old. He last played with the Canadiens in 2019, 2020. So he played, how many career games did he have? 3, 17, 18, 24. He had 24 career games for the Canadiens. And for much of that, had a save percentage above 900. He had pretty decent numbers, honestly. I get that he got in a weird spot. Do you guys remember? I think it was because like Price had gotten hurt, and then they wanted a veteran backup, and so Lindgren didn't really get his chance with the Habs. But I think he could have been the backup here. Anyways, he's 31, and they just signed the last year they signed him to an extension, so he's not going anywhere. Washington has their little goaltending duo, uh, and they're very happy. Was it Logan Thompson, the other guy? They're happy with that scenario. But yeah, these have to be worrying times for Sam Montembeault. I think it's. I think tonight's pull was we're pulling you because you let in 2 bad goals, as opposed to some of the other games where it's like, well, the Habs are playing bad. We'll pull the goalie. This game's fallen off the rails. This was a true, like, your team is playing well and we need to win tonight, so we're pulling you. Very nice play by Charlie Lindgren there to make the save off Bolduc, giving a little ice bath. It's kind of weird that both goalies went bad at the same time, almost as if someone's trying to change their game. I don't think it's so much that as I think that the more video comes out about how they're playing. Teams obviously have the book on these guys, and they have millions and millions of hours of video on all these goalies. But if they start off the season a certain way, I think Montembeault started off a bit weak, and I think they could clearly see that his glove hand was weak, and it sort of compounds if it doesn't, if he's not able to adapt, and that's kind of what's happened here. Ooh, Valeno was all right, but took a heck of a shot block there. But look at him. He's the one skating up the ice. I mean, he clearly looks uncomfortable, but I think he knows that that's just a bruise, and he's good to go. I blame the goalie coach first. Well, the goalie coach is the one who's responsible for getting them to adjust, right? Like, again, teams get the book on these goalies real fast, and then it's up to the goalie coach to get them to evolve their game. And so far, it hasn't really worked. I remember when Price didn't get along with his coach. Is this the Stefan Waite era? Stefan Waite is now a media guy. He talks a lot of game, that guy. Never got another, I don't think he ever got another coaching job, but he certainly talks a lot of game. Veleno is showing up. Veleno's having a night tonight. This is like will save his spot in the lineup night. Like I think he knows I'm sure they told him, you are game to game now, buddy. Like, you need to prove that you can not just kill penalties, but win faceoffs, play a little on offense, skate. I mean, there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to hit a little bit. He's a big guy. Tonight's the night. Tonight's the night he proves that he's part of the solution and not part of the problem. Wow, great play by Slavkovsky in the corner. Can something come of it, though? Dobson with the nice, didn't work out, but it was a nice play by Slavkovsky in the corner to dig the puck out, and then it was nice by Dobson to keep the puck in, but nothing to do in the end about that. Habs are the better team tonight. They just have to have a better goalie. Or they just have a better goalie. Washington does. Yeah. I think that's a pretty fair assessment. I've actually liked the way the Habs have looked tonight otherwise. Hey, the only guys to score four more games after the age of 40, Ovechkin, Yager, and Dean Prentice. Galley scored, Veleno scored. What about Bolduc? Yeah, Bolduc's cold, and he's on the top line tonight. Tonight would be a nice night for Bolduc to score. Of course, he doesn't have 0 goals in the season, but he's got 0. He hasn't scored in a while. After a way too long shift by the Habs, Wilson plasters So Tom Wilson didn't score, but Tom Wilson absolutely plastered Evans in the corner. The puck skips out to Chikrin at the point, who's got all the room in the world to walk up into the high slot, and he absolutely blasts one by Dobesh. And we've talked about the goalies enough tonight. Let's talk a little bit about Dobesh being on the ice, or sorry, not Dobesh, Dobson being on the ice for 2.5 minutes. What the heck is going on? Why couldn't they get out of the zone? That is the exact kind of goals that we saw Dallas and LA score. Yeah. Canadians just got overpowered, couldn't clear the puck. Wilson absolutely clubbed Evans in the corner, and then Chychrun just beat Dobish with a blast. That's a tough one to swallow. Tough one to swallow. We need Florian to do stuff like that. Canadians don't have anybody. Do they have anyone like that right now who could just manhandle somebody in the corner like that? I don't think so. Every so often we see someone like Slav kind of do it, but not that way. Everyone watching the Wilson hit, no defense. Yeah, no, that's what I mean. That's what a big hit. That's what a big hit does, right? Big hit just totally destabilizes everybody. Gorton likes them soft as bread. I can't imagine that Jeff Gorton is watching the team right now and thinking that this is remotely a finished product or that they've got enough toughness to make it through the playoffs. I would have to think. He'd be very sadly mistaken if so. All right. Nick Suzuki scores with a penalty incoming. So, yeah, so Hudson takes the shot, deflects out to Suzuki, and Suzuki one times the rebound. It's 4-3. All right. Bolduc gets his first, gets an assist on the top line. So yeah, according to Stu Cowan, Jake Evans to the locker room after that hit. And Jake Evans is already back. So Jake Evans is back. It's all good. Just a little equipment. Just a little equipment adjustment, everybody. It's all good. Oh. Oh. Wow. So so Kapanen almost had an open chance, and then it ended up going down the other end, and then the Caps got a chance of their own, but they sailed it through Dobesh. Dobesh probably got a piece of that. This third period is going to be a hard hitting one, starting to build, and Wilson is gearing up. So happy to see Evans back. Veleno lost the puck. Milano just sped by, just caught Carrier flat-footed and just totally undressed him and went in and scored. And then Chikrin hurt in the corner. Yeah, it was Veleno loses the puck. Counterattack, super fast. Carrier loses his balance, gets beat. Wow. This game is crazy. This game is absolutely nuts. Yeah. I don't think Carrier was expecting, like, he saw Veleno with the puck, and I don't think he was ready to move back so fast. Yo, Milano shot out of there like a cannon. He was fast. Yeah, there's pun hockey out there. There's no defense right now. This game has fallen apart. Is Arbor still concussed from the last beating he took? Everybody seems to think that something is not quite there with Jack Eye right now. So I'll leave it to you guys to determine what maybe did or didn't happen with him. Monty, Dobish, doesn't matter. Still a couple seats on the lifeboat if anyone's interested in getting off the Titanic. Yeah, we got a couple of the tank commanders who want McKenna, which I get. He's a pretty special player. I don't know how doable it is, but I do understand the allure of another lottery pick if the team is not looking playoff ready, and they certainly have not looked it recently. Somebody needs to stop the puck. Yeah, it's only 5 goals allowed on 20 shots. So the Caps have now passed the Habs in shot. That was all on Veleno. He did wipe out. Now would be a good time for our first overall pick to do something. Yeah, no, we're talking a lot about first overall picks here, but Canadians have one who has not contributed on offense tonight. I'll tell you that much. Well, the second period is over. That was some messy, messy hockey. Montembeault pulled, and Canadians down 2 goals. T- 2019 in shots. That was a pretty wild period. Because we just had the 2 goals in the first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goals scored in the second period. Absolutely just no defense at all. The Habs are working hard, but you can't do much when your goalies can't stop a beach ball. They really miss Guhle. I think they really miss Guhle. Legitimate question: is Arbor skating around in a mist? He's been staying as far away from Wilson tonight. Honestly, like I don't know if they've shared the ice much tonight, but I don't feel like he's had much of an opportunity. The problem was there were so many penalties, and we were talking about this earlier, where he's kind of put in a situation with Marty where they don't really want him to take penalties, and so then he kind of loses his edge a little bit. There were 9 penalties in the first period. Like the first period was an absolute mess, and so I'm sure Jack is looking at that, looking at his team down, and being like, I can't be the guy who takes another penalty for this team, puts us on the penalty kill again, where we clearly can't stop the Capitals' power play. Like I can't be that guy. So yeah, then you end up in a situation where somebody who is confident in being able to plaster guys, Tom Wilson, running roughshod over the Habs, and then you have a guy who's tentative like Arbor Jacki who can't get the job done. And I think that Gary is sort of more my assessment of kind of where Jacki is right now. He's not pulling a Ryan Reeves, yeah. As much as I think some fans would like to see Tom Wilson get his tonight. There's the link if you want to check out all 8 goals tonight so far, including 6 of them in the second period. When do the Habs promote Fowler? He's playing well right now in Laval, actually. He's played 10 games in Laval. I know you guys were saying last night had a bit of an incident, but he's been playing well. I still think Kaiden comes in first. He's the guy with NHL experience. I think he's the one that they want to put as a buffer so that they're not calling up Fowler too early and starting his clock too early, more importantly. So, um, gonna say we're gonna see Kainen fairly soon. I think as soon as they can put Montembeault, rationalize that he's on the injured list or whatever. I mean, they don't even have to, right? They have an extra spot in the lineup. So that's my guess. We see Kakkonen. What do we got on the other games? What do we got on the docket tonight? They got some big divisional matchups here. So the Jackets are up 2-1 against the Leafs. So the Leafs are losing, and then the Islanders are beating the crap out of the Wings tonight, 4-0. And before you ask, no goals for Heineman tonight, but he's got an assist. I know you guys are feeling a type of way about Heineman these days. Feeling a little wistful for our a little wistful for our Swedish power forward. I get it. What? The timer's going to go off. I'll come and flip it. All right. Who needs to step it up in the third period? None of you answer my question. I hate you all. Now you can see my reaction. The one funny thing about this is you can see my reaction when I see you guys arguing. Have a good rest of your evening, Joseph. It's interesting. I wanted Jack Guy to be a Radko Gudas, not a fighter, but he's a nobody. I will say that Radko Gudas, I don't exactly know when things turn for him, but he He wasn't born Radko Gudas. You know what I mean? Like it does take time for these guys, especially physical players, because being confidently physical in the league, you have to be like unafraid of sort of the consequences of like if you allow a goal, if you take a penalty. It's very hard, and it's like you kind of like iron your game out first, and then sort of the physical game comes. And then there are some guys who are just like born to do it, which is very very hard. So I will say that not the greatest time for Jack Eye right now, but honestly, I kind of like his game a little better than Strubles at the moment. Step it up. The defense got to step up. The offense got to step up. The goalie's got to step up. Hey, it's group effort. This team has lost 3 of their last 4. Was it 6 of their last 7? 6 goals were scored in that second period. Like just another messy game. Goalie pulled. They got to right the ship somehow. They got to right the ship somehow. But yeah. Anyways, I'll give my 2 cents here. I want to see Slav step up. I keep wanting to see Slav step up, and occasionally steps up, but I want to see him step up. Um, I just think that this is the kind of game that he would thrive in. But for whatever reason, the thing about Slav is he's a bit like Josh Anderson, where I know in the first 5 minutes if he's gonna have a big game or not. Or not. Like you can see when his legs are moving, when he's physical, but he's not a guy that has so far shown his ability to sort of elevate when the time is necessary. But the third period's about to start. They're down 2 goals. They need him. They need Slav to have a big hit here, make a big play in the corner. Kirby Dach was the other big physical guy that they had that, could maybe turn the tide. He was starting to do it a little more. Of course, he got hurt. It's done now. Guhle's another guy. So who's the guy who can physically implicate themselves back into this game? Slavkovsky's the guy for me. He's got to do it. He's just got to do it. We haven't seen it yet. All right, third period underway. Jake Evans is not on the bench. Jake Evans is not on the bench. Ooh, Gallagher with a very nice deceptive play there. High shot that Lindgren handled with some degree of difficulty. I'm starting to think that Slav just doesn't get it. Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, there's like a bit of there's a bit of like a chasm here of like, I don't think I think he's already a good player. I just feel like there's another gear that I think we're just going to be forever wanting from him that he may not have. But I still think he's a good player. Like I see here Gary saying that the second coming of Wickenheiser, and I don't think it's that. Although that being said, and you should look it up. There are some articles out there that, with the benefit of sort of hindsight and stats and video, looking back on Wickenheiser a little bit, and before he got hurt, actually was developing into a pretty solid player. So his career, obviously was cut a little short, and it didn't quite work out the way people wanted. But there's something to be said that Wickenheiser had a little more than we were thinking. Can we please beat the Leafs on Saturday? Probably concussed by the Wilson headshot. Was it a headshot? I mean, he obliterated him in the corner. I didn't quite see if it was a headshot. It's all capitals in the early going here in the third period. Canes cannot clear, which which is another thing that we've started to see more of, I would say. I would say that early in the season, we were not seeing the Habs get hemmed in their zone very much. And then now in the last 2 weeks, we're seeing a lot of it. I was really like attributing it to Noah Dobson, really. I was like, oh man, like with Dobson and Hudson on the ice at any given time, like there's very little time actually spent in the Habs zone. And I feel like now that's not been the case. So Dobson was not the wholesale change that I thought he might have been early on. Now that they're playing against heavier teams, we're starting to once again see that other teams can beat the Habs by cycling the puck, and the Habs don't really have a response to that. I worry Wilson will damage another Hab in this last period. Yeah, that's definitely a concern here. Love that pushback by Hudson. Hey, Hudson was best player last Monday, and holding his own tonight. Hey, look at Veleno behind the net, centering that to Joshua Roy for a chance. Okay, okay, Veleno, looking a little better tonight. Left you for dead. Maybe shouldn't have. Yeah, Hudson Carrier pairing. I like that. I think that's. I know they're small, but you don't want to see much of Struble Jackeye this period, I'd say. Hey, and we got ourselves a 1 goal game. Matheson from the point. I was a little like, Caulfield, why didn't you try to score from the sharp angle there? But no, he fed it to Matheson, who had to come in way from the point into like the top of the circle territory, and it is 5-4. Yeah, very nice one-timer pass from Caulfield to Matheson. All right. Oh man, Habs almost followed up with another chance there. Lindgren was sprawled out. Well, your what was it? Your 4-2 prediction? It looks like that will not come true. Last goal wins, definitely. Matheson, arguably the best player on the team from game one. I think so. I honestly think Matheson has been a revelation this year. They were ready. We were all ready to let him walk as a free agent, and I couldn't imagine him going now. Montreal Miners. Well, they got Dobesh in now. Oh my God, what a move by Hudson! What a move by Hudson, but he just lost it. Yeah, Lindgren's had a. I wouldn't say he's had a great night, but you're right. He has kind of made a couple of big saves, including right there. Even though Hudson kind of lost the handle on it. Yeah, I can't imagine the team without him. I changed my mind with Matheson. Absolutely. I think there was just an expectation that some of the younger guys would be able to take a step forward. They have not. Matheson looks like he's still got plenty of years left in him, so let's keep him. Or sign him for 3 at 9 or 7.5 for 4. Age is a factor for Mike. Yeah, you don't. I mean, he's already what 31, 32, so you don't need to go. He's not expecting an 8-year deal, So I don't couldn't even tell you the dollar amount. I was thinking. I told you guys at the start of the season. I thought the Jeff Petrie 6.25 mil made sense. Aged for inflation, and now it's like, could it be 9? Could be. If he's better than Dobson and Hudson. But someone's got to go. Too many left-handed defense. Well, maybe not much longer. I mean, Guhle can't stay healthy. I don't know if they're Levin, Struble, or Jackeye long term. So you could argue that Hudson and Matheson are exactly the two guys that you need there, and then you can figure out the rest later. Sad that your team scores 4 goals and you're still losing. Great for your fantasy hockey team, though, isn't it? I don't know if you guys are playing fantasy hockey. I'm playing fantasy hockey. I got Suzuki on my fantasy hockey team. And I got who did I get on defense? Oh, I think I got Hudson. No, that's not right. Who did I get? I don't remember. I got one other Hab. I'm loath to say Guhle. I don't think it was though. I don't think no, I don't have anyone on the IR right now. Jake Evans will not return tonight. Not sure what's going on there. The puck's on the goal line, or sorry, Dobesh is sort of resting on the goal line, and didn't look great. Whatever it was, can't tell you if it's concussion. It could, sometimes it's just precautionary, right? Like he doesn't have a concussion per se, but if he goes into concussion protocol and then they just like decide it's not worth bringing him back out tonight. If he's concussed, he's out for 2. I don't know. We're gonna find out. The Habs play Saturday again, so they only get 1 day off. Yeah, Dobesh is just is sitting in his net. Kept the puck out though. What if they drafted Cooley and well, they would have drafted one or the other, right? If they would have drafted Cooley, they would have Suzuki and Cooley as maybe their number 1 and 2 centers right now, and we were probably talking about how talented they are, but how small they are. And if they had drafted Wright, not so sure Wright was the great fit for this market. He seems a little odd. Fair to say. I think he's happy in Seattle. I don't know. I could be wrong. And Sloth played great on Monday. I know. I know he didn't get a point. He played great on Monday. Are they going upstairs? They are going upstairs on this. No goal. That was a little closer than it seemed, but no goal. And Slav is dumped, but he's not. Oh, that was a nice play by Slav. Turned around in the slot and managed to shoot one through a ton of traffic. Does Slav have a little shiner on him? But no. But that was a nice try by Slav. I'll give him that. That was a slash by Joshua Hua. The referees, there are no penalties in so far this since the second period. I should point out that so not to say that the refs have put their whistles away, but the refs have put their whistles away, I would say. I mean, the Canadians are coming back here, but like the goaltending so shaky on the Habs end that it's like one goal I think would just be a backbreaker here. Canadians gotta Dobish gotta shut them out, and the Habs gotta score one more. It's nine. We're past the midway point now. It's 9:04 left. Shots are 27-25 Capitals, and it's 5-4 Capitals. There have been no penalties in the last two periods. Been absolute freewheeling hockey. 6 goals scored in the second. We got a puck over the glass. Pretty sure it hit the glass before it went out. Yeah, no penalty calls. Wait, hold on. We'll do the two parts here. Yeah, I never really liked or followed right. Yeah, it didn't feel like it was really what the Habs were looking for. Heard Cooley wasn't bad though. Cooley's like best player come out of Pittsburgh. That was the whole thing. That was the whole rep he had. Uh, I just honestly, I've mentioned this before in other live blogs. Like they, the Canadians in the lottery positions have drafted size. When presented with two options, they've drafted the bigger guy for the most part. Ditto Reinbacher. Ditto Demidov. I mean, Seneki and Lindstrom are already gone. So Demidov was kind of like given to them, but Demidov's not a little guy. Wright was too arrogant. That's definitely the vibe he's gotten. Maybe I'm still naive, but Slav is only 21 and still immature. I'll give him a couple of years. I mean, even ooh, we got a 3-on-1. And they pass themselves a little too much there and get nothing out of it. But what on earth was Veleno doing there? He needed to get that puck down the ice as soon as possible. He needed to get that puck to freedom. He was just waiting around in the neutral zone. Yeah, I mean, even Hughes said to wait till, what, 25 for Slav? He certainly didn't think that Slav was going to be good right away. So, that being said, we've already seen what he can do. So I think it's just It's frustrating to see him not be able to do it night in, night out. That's really it. Hey, we got the Victoire playing on Sunday. You guys gonna watch? 1 p.m. on Sunday. Less than 6 minutes to play. Slav was scheduled as a 5-year project. He missed a year because of an injury. And so what? He's in year 4 - 1, 3/4 of a season. Yeah. He hasn't reached his potential yet. It's just, what is his ceiling at this point? Maybe a little lower than we're thinking. 5:20 to go. Still a 1-goal game. Josh Anderson streaks to the net. And was that Anderson on the rebound who missed the wide open net? Well, it wasn't a wide open net. There are definitely a bunch of bodies, but the goalie was not in play at all. But whoever was on the Habs, not only did he miss the net, but the puck ended up basically leaving the zone because it rattled around the boards. Oh, man. I'll wait until Slaffy is 31. Let's make it 40. Ovi's still playing well at 40. Let's not judge Ovi till he's 40, until he scored his 900 goals. Man. Josh Anderson, hands of cement, but he created some offense there. Couldn't cash in at all. But the guy the guy's playing really, I think he's playing good hockey lately. Started off a little slowly, but I like what I'm seeing from him right now. Yeah, maybe Slavkovsky just ends up such a big guy, doesn't take any damage. Maybe just plays average hockey till he's 50. I'd be happy with that. Yager's still playing. That guy's a beast. Is he still playing in the Czech league? Does anybody not love Jaromir Jagr, by the way? Yager's still playing while Plekanec coaches. But seriously, though, is there any hockey fan who doesn't love Jaromir Jagr? Please let me know. Gary, we're obviously joking, by the way. If you can't tell that we're joking, come on, man. I was saying playing 50 years old. Only Jagr plays at 50 years old. I don't think Slavkovsky's playing till 50 years old. Well, maybe. No, he's not. No, no, we're just having some fun, dude. Oh man, it was not Veleno's fault because I mean he's charging the net and trying to get it, but the puck, I think it was Anderson's shot goes off Veleno and doesn't go in the net, but the goalie's way out. I wonder when we're gonna see the goalie get pulled. I mean the Caps just iced it. They iced it with 4:25 to go. Could we see the Habs pull their goalie? They don't win a lot of faceoffs, and I don't think they've won a lot of faceoffs tonight. 52-49, or 52-47, rather. Top line's out. They didn't pull the goalie, but yeah, 4:18 left, 5-4. Face off in the Washington zone. Right now, they're all just fighting along the boards. Hudson escapes with it. And nobody's at the other end. And now it's a 3-1, 3-on-1. And Ovechkin ends it. Oh, man. That was... Hudson tries to send the puck across in his own zone, gives it away. 3-on-1 going the other way. And Ovechkin, he's not missing that. Oh, boy. What a backbreaker. That's his second goal of the night. 906 on his career. That man knows how to score goals. I can't think of a worse, other than Tom Wilson scoring himself, I can't think of a worse backbreaker than the Habs giving it away in the offensive zone off a risky pass from Hudson, and then Ovechkin scoring at the other end. And Dylan Strome, who's got the sweetest damn job in the frickin' hockey world, teeing up Ovechkin every night, gets another one, gets another assist. How can they not have man-on-man coverage on a guy like Ovi? Because they were all down low. They were all down low trying to... Well, Hudson was the one who gave... Here, Rick, you're asking where were the D-men? Well, Hudson was basically at the goal line. They were all down low trying to make it happen, and then Hudson sailed a horrible cross-ice pass that Washington intercepted and then went the other way, and there were no defensemen back. And now the net is pulled with 2:26 to go. So let's see if anything can happen. Quick forming 2-on-1. Caulfield elects to shoot. And it's 7-4. Ovechkin completes the hat trick. He's good at hockey. He's the greatest scorer in the history of the game. And the Canadiens have lost again. 4-5. Still 2:04 left in this game, too. As if we need more pain and misery tonight. Oh, man, the Habs did not play anything resembling any defense tonight, and the goaltending was bad. There was no goaltender there. Didn't matter. What are we doing? What's going on with this team? Time to panic. Is it time to panic? Something has to be done with the goaltending. It cannot continue like this. So are we just fed up because the Habs got off to a good start and we expect them to continue that pace? Reality has set in. Yeah. Yes, Habs fans are upset because they started off playing pretty well. And now they're not. Progress is not always linear. The Habs are on the right track, but I fear a step back this year. They'll need to fix goaltending, but not rush Fowler. We're still 2-3 years away from contending. That is probably the very wise and sober way to look at things, Mark. This one's on the goalies. Did we get one key save tonight? No. Carey. Where is Carey Price? How's his knee doing? He's a Shark now, though. He can't play, even if you're. Oh, it's 8-4. Milano. I don't know if y'all are still watching, but Caps are still scoring. Jack-Eye and Struble get a nice. Oh, what on earth are Jack-Eye and Struble doing? I mean, they took out the two guys in the middle of the net. And to be fair, Dobesh is not at all playing the angle properly. I guess they were just expecting. I mean, they took out the guys in the middle of the net. They were hoping that Dobesh would be able to take out Milano. They could not. He could not. Start panicking. Goaltending was weak. Defensive game was very weak. This team looks fragile. Lost the net. Yeah, that one's on Dobesh for sure. They're gonna give a poor minus to Jack-Eye and Struble, but this is pathetic, says Mark. This was a weird game. Like so many penalties in the first period, and then no penalties the rest of the game. 6 goals in the second period, 12 goals total. What a mess, man. There might be another one. It's the last minute of play, and the Caps are still in the zone. Dobesh off his angle again. Who are you putting in on? I mean, who's starting on Saturday? Who are you guys putting in on Saturday? Say Kakinen. I'm saying Kakinen. I'm putting Kakinen in on Saturday. Better beat the Maples. I don't know about the Maples, man. Great to see some of our truthful Habs fans return to the blog. Yeah, when the team is bad, man, we definitely got some. We got some folks who aren't pleased. Hey, I think we might. Do we actually have a penalty here? 34 seconds. Do the refs not want to go home? I want to go home. Nice to join again, I think. Well, thank you, Kelly, for joining again. And hey, we got a big one on Saturday. I'll be here on Saturday. We got some unsportsmanlike penalties here at the end. Canadians get a little power play. Isn't that fun? Last call. If anybody wants a comment to make the About Last Night column, you know how it goes. I pick 3 every night. Don't ask me how I pick them. I'm not really sure how. Just whichever ones I remember at the end. Those of you who played high-level hockey know how frustrating it is when your goalies can't stop and completely suck. Habs worked hard, but you can't do much when the goalies play like that. Now sorry, you've been saying Kaka all night, and I'm like, what are you doing? And now I realize you're agreeing with me. You're saying Capo Kakanen time. I get you now. I get I get you. We're on the same page. Capo Kakanen, bring him on. Bring on Capo Kakanen. This ain't working. These goalies need a mental reset. Call up Kakanen. Put the e-bug as the backup on Saturday, and give Monty and Dobesh a spa day, because it ain't working. I appreciate having you here to vent. It's fun. It's more fun than screaming at the TV. Is there going to be another goal? There's 2 seconds left. Goodness gracious. Ridiculous. Okay, this game is over. That's it. That's all. A mirage. Oh no, Ryan, I don't disagree. Have a great night too, Kevin. All right, last call. Last call is done. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you all on Saturday if you can continue to stomach these Canadians. Hopefully, you can. All right, have a good one, y'all.